Number 3 is this cross-body connection that we need to get the ab separation to close, because we're thinking about pulling with the external obliques this rib cage down and across. So if you think of external obliques as your pockets going this way, so they're like your jacket pockets. Internal obliques are kind of going up this way a little bit more, and they pull the rib cage down and back towards the spine on the exhale. Then those rectus abs, you know, they're your like crunch muscles pulling everything this way, and they close the gap of the ab separation. But we still always want this exhale to start from the bottom up. So down in that transverse abdominis, TVA. Exhale from the bottom up, drawing those hip bones together, coming through the external, internal obliques up to the rib cage. So thinking of, again, the whole ab wall coming on together, but we're going to be doing a cross-body motion, and I'm going to show you a couple of options here, depending on where you're at. First option is this half windmill to a knee press. So if I go down into this open windmill, I'm going to breathe into the back and the sides of my rib cage. Nice long inhale through my nose, and then as I come back up, I'm going to exhale from the bottom up and push into my knee with my opposite hand. So you might want to hold on to a yoga block to do this if you can't reach the floor. So you can go open and make this a little bit easier. Open into the sides, the back of the rib cage. Nice long inhale. And then as you exhale, you can take that block. Push it into the knee. Find that connection from the low abs all the way through, thinking of the rib cage coming down and back without dropping here. So we don't want to go like this. Still want to stay lifted through the sternum. So if you feel really good with that windmill to knee press, you can take it to the next step with a band for some resistance. So here I want to keep my hips fairly steady, but I'm going to be rotating through my rib cage. So as I keep my hips steady, I'm going to open and rotate as I inhale, allowing that pressure to expand into the sides and the back of my rib cage. And then I'm going to exhale, bringing that band across to my midline, keeping this knee from going out like this as well or falling in. I want to stay nice and steady. And I'm also just thinking about pulling this femur back slightly into my hip joint. So I just don't want to be pushing forward at my hips. I want to stay nice and stacked, rib cage over pelvis. So inhale, open. Exhale. Pulling across to the midline, not letting that knee fall out. Inhale, open. Exhale. Now, if you're really uneven in your hips, you can take a yoga block and place that under your back knee, and just to make sure your hips aren't too hiked on one side. So here again, inhaling, opening, expanding into the rib cage, and then exhale, pulling across to midline. So one step up from that again, and this is my favorite exercise for closing this ab separation. Once you build a little bit of strength and you feel like you can keep this position without wobbling and losing this core control, do the same thing in a standing position. Opening and allowing my hips just to very slightly turn this direction. And then as I exhale, I'm dropping this hip down, letting the knee reach down to the floor, and I'm going to about 45 degrees this way across my front knee, feeling that really strong connection across my whole ab wall. Inhale, open, exhale. Inhale into the rib cage, down into the pelvic floor. Exhale from the bottom up. So this one is a little bit more advanced. You might feel it a lot in your legs, but you're still focusing on this whole ab wall coming on together. So again, aim for 5 to 10 of those each side, depending on where you're starting, either in the windmill on the floor, in this half kneeling position with a band, or standing. But pay attention to what you feel in your core. And if you're doing that standing one and you feel like you can't inhale down, feel it into the ribs, that expansion, and then you exhale and you're kind of just feeling this cinching and pressure pushing down, you know it's too advanced and you need to take a step back.